Well, we did those epic fishing trips. Like if I brought it back out to like a macro level, we'd like take the horses through the Bob Marshall wilderness in Montana, me, you, and Hunter with guides, go fishing. I mean, those were like epic camping trips. We got to do that again.
Well, that was part of like the whole secret sauce of discovery. So the first two projects, Estancia and Cordoval, were golf centric, and I didn't golf, right? So,
like most improved golfer of all time.
Yeah, well, I say best swing money can buy.
Right.
So, I didn't like to golf. I didn't golf. I literally didn't like it because I like to work out, right? And golf wasn't a workout. And now I love to golf because my workout's walking a lot.
Yeah.
So I walk 18 holes and it's great. So that's how, when I started liking golf. But back then, I didn't like golf at all. So we were doing this project in Montana. So I go, well, what do we do? Well, Montana is like a recreational heaven.
Yeah.
And so this is in Whitefish, Montana. So, I bought a boat to teach them how to wakeboard. Now they wake surf, but I didn't know how to wakeboard. So I don't know how to drive a boat. I'm from Milwaukee. So I hired a guy to drive the boat and teach him how to wakeboard. And so I would go out with them and I would drink beer and eat a sandwich and kind of watch him and participate and have fun.
We would shred.
Yeah. And so, but for me, it wasn't stressful, right? If I was doing it, I'd be driving the boat, hoping I'm not killing someone, running them over, trying to teach them how to wakeboard, which I didn't know how to do. So by hiring people, it took the stress out of it. And so the whole idea in Montana was to make basically Hunter and Will mountain men. And so they were wakeboarding. We'd go into Bob Marshall with guides and, we'd fly into a ranger station and float out, in rafts and fish and camp. And we had people doing everything. But they would want to do it, which is great. So they learned how to do it, and I didn't want to learn it. So it was great to have the people do it.
And we were like 8 to 12 years old, basically, in like that time frame. Yeah.
Right. So by the time they're 12, they're living in San Francisco, that they were able to tie their own flies and go fly fishing. And they were like real mountain men because they spent their summers in Montana. And so the whole idea was not just to do this for Hunter and Will, but to do it for every family. So as we talked about earlier, going to vacations are stressful, right? Because you got to get the right room and all that crap. So the other thing is, what do you do on vacation, right? You got to then figure out, where to go fishing, where to, what to do. And so what we started at Iron Horse, which is a big pillar of discovery, is we take care of all that. You just show up and we have it all orchestrated for you, whether it's fly fishing or rock climbing or mountain biking or wakeboarding or, whatever fly fishing, whatever whitewater rafting, glacier national tours, whatever you do in Montana, we made it easy for you. And so if you were, let's say you were the wife and you were making the plans, well, you didn't have to make plans. All you had to do is show up to Iron Horse and it was all orchestrated for you.
Yeah.
And then we did Kukio right after that, which is on the Big Island, and we turned them into watermen. So, Hunter and Will were the first kids in the neighborhood, who could surf and scuba dive and free dive and stand up paddle and
rock run
and, hand line up 170-pound tuna, yellowfin tuna. Wow. So, the whole idea was to turn them into mountain men in Hawaii, turn them into watermen in Kukio. And so...
yeah, use the activities of each environment around, provide it to the families, give them more to do. Like when we were talking to Allie at Troubadour, right? Yep. She's saying how like every day she can do a different activity with one kid for the entire summer.
Yeah, instead of just going to the pool and suntanning. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's kind of how the conception of the comfort stations came around too, was with Will and Hunter, right?
Yeah. So I did Estancia. I wanted them to learn how to golf because I didn't know how to golf. And I figured if you started early, they'd have more fun. And so I remember they were like on the driving range at Estancia, and they were just throwing golf balls. And I'm like, hit the golf ball. I'm like, like getting mad. And my buddy who was teaching them, Doc Bellis, is like, no, Mike, look, they're 5 years old. They're 7 years old. Just make the golf course fun for them. They're not, they're not going to be Jack Nicklaus right now at 7. Right. So I go, okay, good idea. So I go, let's go golf. So we go to the pro shop, and I was trying to put them in collared shirts. And they're like, I don't want to wear a collared shirt. And I'm like, put the collared shirt on. They're like,
we had to wear them at school, at private school. Yeah, so we're like, we're not at school though.
Yeah, we're not wearing it. And I go, so I'm fighting with them. I go, well, why am I fighting with them? This is supposed to be fun. They go, okay, don't wear a collared shirt. So we go to the first tee, and the pro goes, Mr. Melvin, you guys need collared shirts. And I go, why? And they go, yes, sir, Mr. Melvin. And I go, oh, this is great. I can make my own rules up. So that's how like our courses became casual.
Yeah.
Right? It was kind of all organic. It wasn't like trying to disrupt golf because I didn't know enough about golf to be disruptive. But it was just how we lived. And that's kind of how everything happened. And then I would put on the tee boxes a cooler. And it had Cokes and Sprites and candy bars. And so like Hunter and Will would go to the first tee, eat a candy bar, drink a Coke, run down the fairway to the next tee, get another Coke and candy bar. So I was making the golf course fun, and now that's turned into the comfort stations. Not a great parenting technique, but a great way to enjoy the golf, enjoy the golf course.
Yeah, now we got like grills and dried fruit and, different alcohols. And I mean, it's crazy what they've transformed into. Each club competes with the other club to have like the most fun, interesting comfort station. Yeah. And it's a huge part of the golf course is not going out there in the middle of the desert and being thirsty and hungry the entire time, but actually, yeah.
Yeah, they call it the 5-pound round because, you have to really be disciplined not to, have the burgers, have the hot dogs, make yourself a, Sunday.
Gaining 5 pounds every round.
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny. I probably wouldn't have even golfed if I didn't go to El Dorado with Will. At some point, we golfed a whole round in board shorts.
Yep.
And I remember being a hot day too, and it was so much fun. But those comfort stations too, you're like, wait, I just happen to be thirsty right on this hole, and there happens to be a comfort station right here, and this is working out just perfect.
Frozen margarita, Casamigos.
Yep. So that was my introduction into golf, and it was what did I do on that par 5? What was it?
Brock Birdie to par 5.
First time golfing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, golf's intimidating, right? And golf clubs are intimidating because they have rules and dress codes, which is great. I'm now, since I love golf, I also love the traditional golf, which I didn't understand, obviously, when I started. So I love like going to the old school courses and dress proper,
Chicago Golf Club we did.
Chicago Golf Club, Augusta, Shinnecock, at least you could wear shorts. But, you like having your golf outfit and, dressing up and following the rules and going through the traditional stuff.
Yeah.
So, now when you golf, you like that. But when I didn't golf, I didn't understand that. And what I think we do because of like you going out on your board shorts, I think we're not intimidating like a, old classic traditional club. So I think it's really good to introduce people to golf and grow the game. So I think, we blast rock and roll on the driving range. And that comes from, I used to go to this place when I was at Stanford called Nepenthe, which is in Big Sur for like burgers and beer. And you'd sit out there and look over, the forests and the trees, and they were blasting rock and roll. So that's cool. Like
simple formula.
Well, it works at Nepenthe. It should work out here.
Hell yeah.
And that was definitely my takeaway from it too, was it got me introduced to golf at a later point in my life, in my early 20s. And made me want to get good enough to go play at these other places that are more formal and more exclusive to get into. And I don't want to go make a fool of myself, right? But would still enjoy just as much getting done up.
Dude, you got a great swing. You just need clubs that are longer.
Yeah, which we got ordered on the way. So,
yeah. Thank you for watching Studio 22.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And follow our socials at Studio 22 Podcast.